Hey ho! Libluini is here. We'll continue our little let's play of Dominion 6. Gem and Hologram is our goddess of elf country TNN. And since this is turn 6 and I used a design feature in designing my goddess that means that she's asleep but more powerful, it means she's still not here. It's still about at least 6 more turns until we can see our goddess in all her power. So what happens in this one turn where I retreated and recuperated our troops a bit? Well, we finally got some research done. Alteration is now level 1. Let's look what this means. Yeah, still not much progress here. And while 45 points sounds good, sadly in a while it will drop to 0 because our army is now ready and an unexpected event has occurred. In Belmar, the carcass of a true dragon has been found, still bleeding from great wounds. How it was slain remains a mystery. Your mages have been able to distill a wealth of magic gems from its blood, and its hide has been fashioned into suits of armor. We now have a couple fire gems and dragon scale mails. Those are fairly expensive to forge, so that's a really good event. I have luck scales in my Dominion scale powers, and this is, I'm guessing, the first time it pays out in this game. Because we rolled a good event, and it was a good event. We have now, let's see, treasury for magic items should be F7. Okay. We have now these things here. Red Dragon Scale Mail. They give far more moral, a couple more hit points, more important, lots of fire resistance, and they are also great armor. They lower the defense a bit and add a bit encumbrance, but well, they are still fairly powerful. The first thing we are doing is we remove the really tiny bronze scale cuirass here with one of these. And now the dragon scale has the same penalty to defense as the old bronze cuirass, but now the protection is quite a bit higher. Just in case that emergencies happen, I guess. Now we have this squad 3 weirdos here. None of them have many experience points right now, so we'll just pick the one with 6 experience points out and give him the second armor. To go back a moment, protection 10, because his main armor is a huge weak point. But now we give him this, so he is now at 16. Oh, that's now 1 of 3 who won't immediately get decapitated by every dump attack. We still have nothing to equip our horses. Too bad. I guess that means more walking. So, and with this we go to the troop screen. We have loads of new 2-other warriors we can put here into the pot. And another change, because this guy is now supposed to stay behind and do nothing, we can reduce his guard a little bit and reinforce our powerful attack. And our poor fools whose only purpose in life is to die horribly are now up to 6. Let's see. Yes, we have him here in the background, and we have these guys. We'll put him a bit back here, and we have these guys. And where the hell are the other? Oh, yes, of course, I put those in the wrong direction. Let's put them out here in front so that I can draw the enemy on them. I'll even tear them a bit out. The purpose is, after all, to draw enemies, not to survive. Our 22 drivers are this thin line here. Not too thin. The enemies aren't supposed to just walk past, after all. And then we have our guy here with his two bodyguards. And then we have our little triptychon here. let's do something fancy here. And the one with armor gets put in the middle. Careful now. Now we have this little mini squad of terrorists who are extremely hard to kill and strong enough to do a lot of damage if they can get behind. Technically speaking, they don't need blesses anymore because they are now attacking together with our prophet. So casting time for divine bless is 125% and for the normal bless is 100%, which means that those guys will bless themselves faster than the rest of the army. And then they wholly avenge themselves to get a bit of extra revenge if in case of they get attacked and a blessing. And well, we have just researched some spells. Let's look what we... not much. We have now alteration level 1. Nothing of this really helps, except of personal bugskin maybe. But it also makes us a bit vulnerable against fire. And blurred body is not something we don't need on our mages, since they can get this with a simple bless. As you may notice here, holy spells don't cause fatigue, so there is never a reason not to cast them except time, because it will still add full power when they then attack instead of already being 1/5 into sleepy times. Well, poison resistance would be neater, but there is nothing right now that can poison someone. You can of course be super extra and still try it. Then we don't need extra blesses anymore because there's just this one dude here in range. So the question is, do we then sound the attack, or add still a Holy Avenger? In the midst of is phenomenally vague. Sleep Ray has a range of 1. It only works in close combat. Cat Eyes. Dark Vision. Don't need it. We are not in the darkness here. Eagle Eyes simply makes the precision better, but that's not relevant for a non-mage, I guess. Let me check. Yeah, they have Javelin, so in theory they would hit a little bit better with this. But fuck it, we'll do something else. We make them all a bit poison resistant, our little tower squad here, instead of maybe needing a spiteful death lightning strike. That's a bit more useful. We'll try to keep them alive after all. And then, how many javelins do we have? 2. And yes, golden spear means absolutely no fucking charge bonus, so that's basically irrelevant. Let's take the second bless out so that our troops get moving. And then, is there something I could use? Oh no. Absolutely nothing. Could add Holy Avenger simply to keep them a turn longer behind, because those guys move at 11 to their 30, so for every square these guys walk forward, those are almost move free. So if you look at the battlefield, it means if they get to here, our horses are already here, here and almost here. So long before our infantry clashes, they are already behind, and I'm not sure if I want them deeply into a huge mass of basic infantry for too long. So let's fuck it. Let's still add Holy Avenger. It's after all doesn't mean that anything eats up more fatigue. Can also use Holy Word, which, yes, that's more useful against players. It's only working on sacred units and pretenders, so in other words, nothing out here. So let's, fuck it, we'll do this here. Now, to remember which scripts I had already done. 1, 2, 3, 3. So then this is our new script for our She-Lord attackers. So now they are spending 3 turns buffing themselves and then they attack. And these guys here wait patiently to get blessed and then a little bit more courage. And then they walk off, but there's a second summon of courage because the spell was changed. In Dominions 5 it was hitting the entire battlefield. Now just a large chunk of grid, but not everything. Not even a quarter of everything. Those 24, basically if I put them into an exactly square position, then most of them would be summon of courage, but not all. So I'm chaining 2. If they then walk 11 squares, then they should still be in range for a second summon of courage, since the spell has fairly high range. Then the last misfit will Holy Avenge and then change to whatever spells the AI thinks is best. It would probably be smarter if he then attacks, since he's already fairly experienced. But on another hand, I had a scare already and don't want to lose my profit this early. So our tiny miniature army of jacked up power elves is ready. So now we're trying to attack. Let's see. Oh, income here is horrible. Oh well, let's try to avoid this and go straight for Quadra, as long as our army is fresh. If we take any losses, we can still hit the smaller. Maybe even here. Barbarians, they're one of the indies where you have to be careful. So let's go to recruitment. Again, we've basically maxed out our resources. Our holy points, we have now a little bit money open. So in turn we could try to recruit a scout. Trouble is, not all provinces allow this, and a Firbolg champion. Nice, but we need a scout. And of course here we have our astral mages and sorceresses, but we can't. Well, none of the 3 provinces I've conquered so far allow for recruitment of more scouts. So let's keep things moving. This army is now on the march, and then we'll get another army of 4. Maybe even 5 if I'm taking losses again and need more guys on horses. But let's stay positive. It's after only turn 6. Then my scout is still on the march here, and here we have contact with our first enemy player, Mekone, a nation of big brutish giants who don't like religion, so they have lots of heretics, that is anti-priest that can reduce Dominion, which is annoying as fuck, truth be told, especially since my Dominion is fairly positive. Can I look at it? I mean, here you have lots of turmoil, which is normally bad but gives us more events, and lots of luck, which gives us more events and a high chance of good events, plus some productivity, so we have a little bit of extra resources and don't take a too huge hit for our money. But of course all this works best if you have more than just 3 or 4 provinces, so let's get on with it. And Mekone can fuck us over by using stuff like heretical priests to try to fight our Dominion more effective, which in case removes all our nice little bonuses, like here. Luck is slowly zipping in our new provinces, but right now only 2 of them have fairly high amounts of luck. And our capital, of course. Anyway, since Mekone is now here and somewhat of a threat, I have to concentrate on expanding southwards. So I guess those barbarians have to wait for a while, because I need at least a second army down here before Mekone advances too far south and cuts us off. You have, of course, a neat little bridge going to the east here. It's probably more Mekone. And then there's all those rivers and bridges to the south. But, well, as you can see, Mekone can fairly easily march westward here, and that's already troublesome because Bacona would then cut us off, and our first war would then inevitably be against them. Until I want to be spicy and use the deepest frozen winter to march across this strait here, which is possible if it gets cold enough. We'll see, because it's only autumn right now in the game's terms. As you can see this in this little brown leaf here. Red would probably have been better, but red is also the son of summer, and I guess that could be complicated. For those who don't know, every turn in Dominions is about a month, and 12 months are 1 year, which is why you get something then like holy shit, messages. Fall of the year 0 of the Ascension Wars. The first month is early spring, the second month is middle spring, then late spring, then early summer, then high summer, late summer, and so on. Each season is 3 months, and in summer it gets hotter than normal, and in winter it gets colder than normal, in addition to the temperature scales that your freaky god makes. So in this case, temperature scales are fairly neutral, since our goddess has no magic, ice or fire powers to jack up or jack down the temperature scale. Whatever the enemy has is still not here, and it's not winter, and summer is already over. Since we are neutral elves, I should say, this basically means anytime it's high summer, our guys get a bit tired from all the heat, and in winters are a bit slower because of all the cold. Cold scale and fire scale units and commanders of course have it the other way around, respectively, and that's all for this turn really. We are scouting towards this bridge, we are marching our first army forward, and I've started recruiting the rump of another. It will probably take at least 4 more turns, and then we have a fairly sizable second army to help out in the south. Then I hope that Mekone isn't advancing too fast in our direction, otherwise we can transform immediately into a war economy, which is painful because for new fortresses in Dominion 6 are far more expensive than in Dominion 5, which means if we want to have at least a second force so we can start recruiting research mages and not just an endless line of suicidal G-lords, it's probably for the best if we don't fall into an early war too fast. Otherwise we have to really hope that my super blast works as I've planned it out. We can also use assassins, but of course we have assassin mages with 0 protection, so they can only be really used when I have unlocked some really serious conjuration magic, so I can conjure some fairy knights to help out with the assassination. Otherwise our bow banshees would just be immediately gutted, stabbed or decapitated by whatever they want to assassinate. Really bad. In Dominions 5 and earlier there were also air mages, which meant that hilariously if you put some gems on them and set them to summon air elementals, then turn 1 they would just do them, and then a giant hulking air elemental would drop by, fly over to whatever you wanted to assassinate, and cut it into pieces with his magic air powers. That's kind of funny. Could even go double down by giving her enough air gems to do this more. Up to 5 times in fact, also that would be a lot of air gems then. So bow banshees were really mean. If you had the gems and the time and the research, you could assassinate a large number of fairly strong commanders, despite them just being rather dainty little mages. Now things are more complicated. In fact, let's, before I end this turn, check research on the conjuration level. The first glamour spell, Tapestry of Dreams, has sadly nothing to do with summoning stuff. It's just a spy spell. Then we have the first summoning spell at level 3. And it's basically they're just fairy dogs. So 10 at least is... And it uses 5, so that is a bit expensive, but useful to know. And it's... oh fuck, this symbol means it's a ritual. So I take it back, it's not good for assassinations. But if you need some additional troops, it's useful because you can drop them by. We have Fae Force, which is basically 10 peasant fairies or elves. But, well, I guess I can try. At least it's 10 for 5, like with the dogs. So if I need more troops, it's a useful little thing. Level 4. Oh, shit. And we get some more shit, but only conjure phantasmal warriors is a glamour spell that can be used on the battlefield. Fae Footfolk is basically an upgraded version of that other summon Fae Folk spell. Now it's 5+ and soldiers instead of just some random peasants, I guess. In this case, this 5+ is important because this means if a mage has more than 2, then they get +1 for each. That means a level 4 glamour mage would not get 5, but 7 of those Fae Footfolk. Useful to know, but also expensive at 12 gems. The End of the Rainbow. Caster endures dreams from beneath the Gate of Horn to find what lies hidden at the end of the rainbow. All sides of glamour in the target province are revealed. Also useful, it cannot be used underwater, it cannot target underwater, and can only target friendly provinces, which is good, otherwise you would basically... you would gift new magic sites to the enemy. And 3 provinces, but not through seas. Now that's a lot of limitations and 3 glamour gems, but if we really need more gem income, that's the spell to use. But yeah, this will take a while because we have to go at least to... oh, I forgot. Conjure Phantasmal Wolves is also a combat spell, and it takes 125%. It's about 1 turn and on the battlefield and only gets you 2. Well, it's probably not very helpful in an assassination. No, we have to wait until level 4, sorry, because then we can get 2 actually Phantasmal Warriors, which should help a lot. Of course, Phantasms only have something like 1 hit point and then they're immediately gone. So, on the other hand, they now have magic weapons, so they can also assassinate stuff that thought it was fairly safe. Then it goes up and up. 5. Phantasmal Beasts. Now we are talking. That's probably strong enough for something real. Then we can start even waking up commanders and knights. That could be interesting, but fairly expensive. At least it's 3 instead of 2. And blue caps, that's magic little fairy creatures. That's interesting, but I think I'll look up their stats in outside the game before I invest 20 gems for them. And on it goes. We'll get back to this. But this also means that after those basic levels are true, I start adding conjuration. At least level 4, so we can at least think of recruiting some Baobanshi assassins. Otherwise, there would not be much use. Anyway, now there is really nothing left to do and we can finish this turn. And whoops, another timer. That means double turn, double turn. Ja, Kitty. Am Schlafen Ember, ne? Kleiner Ember, ne? Ja, sorry, so richtig geweckt, ne? Hier komm, wieder, schlaf wieder. Welcome back. We are now in turn 8 because, as it turns out, I suck at counting. And stuff like Lightfall in the year X is apparently really bad for my brain, and it seems I exchanged my standard word basically for apparently. I should really try to rein that shit in. Anyway, we have news. Perkele the Warmaster has claimed the Throne of the Stars in the name of Zauna, the Everlasting One, Lord of Fires, King of the Wastes. That sounds like Muspelheim if you ask me. And then an unexpected event in TNN. In the ruin of a broken tower, a wealth of magic gems were found. Fire gems, air gems, water gems. Not much, but thanks. Then, in Hesperia. People here are suddenly very restless. A substantial part of population has left their homes in search of adventure and a better place to live. 2,840 people left and unrest raised by a large chunk. Wow, that's a not good event. But that's the problem with chance. Regardless how good your chances are, as long as the negative chance is above 0, you still get fucked sometimes. Well, that's bad. Income has dropped, population has dropped, and now there is unrest to slowly fight back down. But, well, our army is ready for action, and, well, there goes nothing. Our strategy and tactics I have already explained, so we can only throw them in here, into the fray, and attack with all our tiny elf might. And back home, we are doing the same thing again, and now our army is being raised. Now we have slightly less slingers to recruit. Too bad that they're too cheap, so I can't really do anything. They are so cheap to recruit that the ones I've recruited are basically are just the equivalent of one good soldier. And of course anything worthwhile needs more resources than we have currently. So we are back to slinging. Then when the second army is on the march down south, then we can finally think of taking out those stupid barbarians. At least now that our belief has infected them, we know now that there is still a sizable amount of income and some resources here. Or did I already tell you this and then forgot? Well, you aren't here for competence, I suppose. And luckily the Meconians haven't advanced into our range. Why? We don't know. Can we go there? Well, no. Since there's nothing down there and those rivers are a nice border anyway, I'll try to go this direction to see what's going on and to maybe find the enemy capital at some point. Otherwise, all we can do is for this turn is to continue as always. Recruitment is organized, the army is organized, and next turn is basically... Next turn will decide if those videos of mine will ever be uploaded or if I can just dump this entire project now. Because if we take a serious loss here, then I have no idea if we can turn this ship around. So anyway, what is research doing? Funnily enough, it's now progressing again since we've slowly making new mages up here. But that's it really. Nothing really happens here. We're in one of those turns in between where nothing of note has happened. Then let's see if turn 9 we'll see some battle action. And it will take a while, my fellow players aren't on the ball right now. So that's it. Diploini out. We see us next time.